Hey, it's Christine. It's almost Christmas, December 2019. Um, I'm doing a video today to let you know how my November and December went. So, thanks to all my subscribers. Um, I want to say that it's been an uneventful holiday for me in no tree. Kind of a Debbie Downer. I hope that it's not perceived that way, but it's the truth. And we all vent on YouTube. That's what our channel is for. So I am going to just be honest and tell you truthfully what's happened. So, starting with my job, I'll talk a little bit about my job. Around Labor Day, I work for the American Red Cross, and the American Red Cross account was kind of winding down from all the wildfires and hurricanes from the last 3 years, especially Paradise. So painful to listen to those calls. I'm my quality assurance agent, so I listen to calls. Anyway, there was an actual hurricane, Dorian, that hit the Bahamas. We all heard about that. Did some damage to Florida. We weren't sure. And then after that, there was a tropical storm in Texas that was unexpected flooding. It was so bad. People were walking up to their waist in water. They compared the water storm surge is what they call it, to Hurricane Harvey, because they hit Houston again. So the people that went through Hurricane Harvey basically went through major water storm surge flooding again. So I was working on that, and then there was a couple tornadoes and some other calls, and then in October things really wound down. I worked like 3 days in October, and I knew something was changing at my work because some of the portals that we use changed, and I didn't get paid on payday, and so I was trying to work with my supervisor to find out why I didn't get paid, and anyway, she was trying to figure that out, and at the same time, we worked together for 9 years, but she worked on another account, but I know her very well, and her father-in-law were both ill, and so she was swamped, and plus going through what is called sandwiched, and that means a person, any one of us, can be sandwiched. It's where you can't even take care of yourself. You're trying to take care of a loved one, an elderly parent, a child, or you're doing a job. That's what they call sandwiched. You can't take care of yourself. So just like when you're on an airplane and they say put the oxygen mask on you first before you take care of the person that you're helping, it's true. I learned that, so that's a tip. But anyway, to make a long story short with work, I found out that we lost an account, and it was a big account, and we got it straightened away. Actually, in New York City, we have an account where people with unpaid parking tickets, they get a boot put on their car, and people call in and they need to give a credit card for a code. So that was a big moneymaker for my company. And so what my bosses did was fly out, and they picked up the same contract. It just got sold to a different company. So in November, I got trained on. Actually, in November is when I discovered all this had happened. And that's when I was working on finding out about my old supervisor. They said she took the last 2 weeks in November and all of December off paid leave. And I didn't know the truth until later, but what happened was told to me later. But I did get trained on the new account for the boot, is with New York City boot. And I'm not sure exactly the name of it, but on November 14th, I was dropped while doing a transfer, and my foot hit the floor, and actually I barely even made it to my chair. My caregiver and I have been trained to do manual transfer. It's called a squat pivot transfer, and that's where she kind of bear hugs me and puts her knees and my knees in between hers. And we've been doing this for years. We were trained at the University of Washington. Well, my leg slipped, hit the ground. It was an accident. But my foot hurt, and nobody wanted to admit that there was anything wrong because there was no bruise, no swelling. She has a tendency to verbalize in a very, I don't know how to say it, critical manner. And so I finally went in to the hospital, and I found out I fractured my toe. And I'd also mentioned to the doctor that I had diarrhea for some reason. So because my abdomen is distended, they went ahead and did a CT and with contrast, which I'd never had before. Years ago, they just told me that my bowel was as paralyzed or as dead as my body, and so I've been really embarrassed about my stomach. I posted that video a long time ago. But anyway, I didn't realize that your liver is so big. It's the second largest organ in your body. It goes all the way up to your nipple. Your skin is your largest organ, but the second largest organ is your liver, and it goes. So they did an ultrasound of my left quadrant of my liver, and my gallbladder. And I did not realize it was so high up. The lady with the ultrasound, she took a long time, and she explained to me a little bit more anatomy and where your stomach is. And I already have restrictive lung disease. And 2016, I think they did a pulmonary function test, and I was at 20% then, and they said I've outlived my life expectancy. Probably because I live at home and I have 4 caregivers and I work. So, because I have a muscle disease, that's also how I ended up in National Institute of Health undiagnosed disease program, and then they asked me to be on 60 Minutes, and that's on my website as well. Well, anyway, about 3 weeks later, I was dropped again, kind of, and this time it was my left ankle is bad. So basically, it's a weak ankle anyway. I used to have an orthotic when I used to walk, and I rolled my ankle and didn't. I think I might have went into the doctor that night, and there was like 3 codes going on where the guy next to me needed to be transported to a hospital because of his brain was bleeding. It was just like the doctor just peeked in and said, or the nurse peeked in and said, "Oh, no breaks, you have a sprain," and that was it. They were ready to take me home, and they go, "Oh, do you want to talk to the doctor?" So I said no. Anyway, so I was compromised, both my feet. Tonight, really the last couple nights, is the first time I've been wearing my regular slippers. I got a boot, which is something to help support my ankle so I wouldn't roll again. And then some other things happened that were scary, and I went to a doctor appointment yesterday for a wellness exam and follow up for these injuries, which that's a long time to wait to follow up, but it just happened to be she's booked, and she canceled one appointment because of a funeral in the holidays, and so I went and saw her yesterday. Very long appointment. My insurance covers transport by ambulance, which I never knew. Really cool. So, because it was a wellness appointment, I didn't have to worry about being in a chair or anything like that. My my main caregiver, has been sick since the last summer with on and off appointments for this or that. They're troubleshooting, and anyway, she's had a cold this week, so I've had fill-ins. Well, I haven't slept. They did our roofs this last month, so at 8:30 in the morning I would wake up to pounding, and needless to say, tree never went up. I got a few Christmas cards. My brother did come over for a 2.5 hours actually, on Tuesday, which was nice. Visit with him. His name is Steve Davidson, and he did give me a real nice picture. He's on Deadliest Catch. He's a veteran captain of a crab boat. So anyway, it's my oldest brother, and then I have 2 sisters and a younger brother that just. My 2 sisters my sister and my youngest brother live in Texas. I have another sister that lives really close to Oregon because that's where she works for Boeing. So my brother is really the only one that I see the most of. And really, between king crab fishing, a pillow crab, he's leaving on July 3rd or January 3rd, and he's gone in the summer. I don't see him either that much. Um, I do have some great friends. Bakari Wade is my best friend. She's been struggling with an elderly parent that just passed today. I have a couple of guy friends from Alaska that stopped by, and two girlfriends that just stopped by. It's like where God is really working in my life. It's like, even though these bad things happen, at the same time, the timing was so weird, then good things would happen. So, last night, tonight, I was informed that I have a caregiver coming in I've never worked with, and another fill-in. They have a really hard time. I have 4 caregivers that have a really hard time finding regular caregivers plus any kind of backups because of I'm basically considered heavy care. And my hours, because I go to the University of Washington, I have to schedule my hours kind of like swing shift hours because I've been swing shift my whole life. I worked for Alaska Airlines for 15 years, graveyard swing and maintenance, and my anniversary was on the 16th. Would have been, actually, I'm kind of retired from there, and that would have been 31 years. And then yesterday was my 11-year anniversary with direct interactions, which I did customer service, and then now I'm doing quality assurance. But that's how I've been able to remain home. Probably I would be dead because the way the state works is when you normally go on disability, your Social Security disability income gets rolled over to the state, and you either go into Medicaid, which means if you worked a long time, you go into a spin down, and then you end up kind of being taken from your home. And I think I've done a video on that, but I'm just going to do a brief update. You get taken from your home, and then you wind up in a facility or, care, or adult family home, and often a nursing home. It just depends on the severity. And with people that have progressive MS or any kind of muscular dystrophy or rare disease that's progressive like mine, I highly recommend that if that happened to you, to always get an advocate, always have documentation, always have a social worker or any kind of person that can help you. And um, since I have worked very hard to get a job, that was really beneficial because I have health care for workers with disabilities, which means I can remain in my home and work, and they don't count my assets. So I've lived here for 20 years, 20 years and a half, almost 21 in March. And I've had 4 floods. I had a flood November 3rd of 17. I had a flood, I'm talking major floods. I had a major flood on January 30th of last year. I had another flood on March 27th of last year. The other floods that I had were minor. The building I live in is a condominium, and they use CPVC piping, which is um, piping they used in the 90s that was popular because it was flexible. Now they know that it's brittle, so like if a plumber even touches anything like an angle stop, toilet, sink, anything within your home, I mean, it can just snap by even trying to screw fitting on it. So I spent a lot of money on plumbing and appliances, water heater. I did get a retirement from Alaska. So over the years, I've upgraded my house at first to be comfortable, and security cameras, because I do have a lot of caregivers, and when I do leave my home, everybody knows it because usually it's by a van. It's just this city in Seattle and Federal Way is just really changed. I grew up here. I grew up in Redondo. I went to Federal High School. I live in a gated community, but there's a lot of crime, and living 15 minutes away from the airport and really 30 minutes away from downtown, it's like a King County taxes and stuff, like it's just kind of prime real estate, really, because I live right next to I-5. So in this nutshell, I've got some equity in my house, and my health is declining. I found out after that CT scan that I was majorly impacted my GI tract. So I was told that I needed to double dose up on my Miralax, which also means you drink a lot of water. I'm sitting on a toilet. I've told people that before. I also need to have a bowel program, so it's good. Since I have a paralyzed bowel, I need digital stimulation with the suppository from the bottom, and so really I've ended up sitting in this chair for many years unless I take an appointment. I'm still able to drive with my chin with the other chair. I did go on a diet this last year because I realized that sodium, especially when you can't move and you can't exercise, so I had a lot of water weight and put on some weight, and the major thing that I really cut out of my diet was sodium, and I think I've lost weight, but at the same time, everything's got to be made fresh. It really makes it hard to find varieties of meals. I mean, you have to really cut out fast food. Try to cut out a lot of sugar as much as possible, and I really can't eat much. I eat snacks. It's because my stomach is being pushed on by my bowel. Anyway, this is the end of the video. The end of the video is because of my close call to being in this chair last weekend. The agency doesn't want me to be bent forward to urinate. I mean, I urinate by myself, ironically. I can feel everything. That's one of the things that makes it rare. I feel pain. I have a lot of pain. But also, this chair is not designed to sit in. So right now, I've been told that I cannot bend forward. I spent a whole entire day yesterday at the doctor's to get, my nurse wanted orders written up on how to train people. But now I'm finding out that, my caregivers are complaining. Nobody wants to do my bowel program or really help me go to the bathroom. So I have to make a decision what I'm going to do. I've been limited on the agencies I can go with because when I got back from DC and they put me on 60 minutes, I was dropped and abandoned, and Adult Protective Services begged me to go to the media and to my lawyer. Well, I did hire a lawyer. That's why I got more hours. And then instead of I was offered a book deal. I had agents that I was referred to for literary entertainment. I could not go down that path. I got thrown into a corrupt system. I found out that most people only get 6 to 10 hours a day of care. A lot of people that choose to live at home, if they don't have their family available, or maybe they only have a part-time, a lot of people end up on their backs in a wet diaper being taken care of by people that have very low paying jobs. So you can get a job. A 19-year-old kid can get a job and get more pay than caregivers. So I've always wanted to be an advocate for disabled people and for caregivers because they're just not paid enough. There's no reason why they should have to work 2 jobs to get by. And, a lot of people get hours they shouldn't, and some people do things where they kind of work the system. It's a wide variety of kind of corruption that they know that I'm aware of, and I do have a voice, and I wished I could use that voice, but I kind of gave up a couple of years ago when really survival was the main thing, and my videos making dropped because I was basically trying to work. And so at this point, I cannot sit like this. It's painful, and I cannot be bent forward to relieve my pain. I cannot get the bowel programs I'm supposed to get, which is the digital stimulation. When they increase my Miralax, I'm supposed to get 2 to 3 a day, and the caregivers have to be delegated by a nurse. And I have a rare disease. Anywhere else, I probably would have been in a nursing home. I even met a lady that was a doctor, and she put her money in a trust, and she practiced for 12 years, and went to school for 12 years, practiced for 10. She got MS, her husband left her, she got bed sores, and when she was in the nursing home, I met her, and she told me, "You mean to tell me that I could have stayed home if I hired a lawyer to get more hours?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I just, being a previous shop steward, I just was not going to settle with not having enough hours, and I had the money, so I hired a lawyer, and I won. But the next thing is I couldn't find nurse delegation, and I got a bad reputation after I had falls and abandonment, people stealing my drugs. And so I've been with this one agency for, I think, since 2016 for sure. I was with 2 agencies for a while. But really, my health has really declined since about 2010. I lost use of my arms when I went to DC in 2011. But it's a great story of inspiration if you talk to the right people. I talk to doctors and what I've gone through. I hear a lot of, even from my family, that, I've asked people, "Hey, you want to trade with me?" They're like, "No way, no." So that's on one side, and the other side is people literally cannot stand me, and well, we're all guilty of doing some sort of imperfections, and I will admit it's hard living at home and having so many caregivers. I sometimes forget what one caregiver does as a parent as opposed to another, and I go into autopilot mode and I forget, because really I work 2 shifts. I have 18 hours a day now, so I work 8 hours from 10 to 6 with one caregiver, and then I have a 2-hour break, which I'm often on the phone. And then I work from 8 to 6 in the morning with another caregiver. I try to get some sleep and in bed by about midnight, a quarter after. But I have to be turned. I'm paralyzed. I could still use a bathroom. I have an overhead Hori lift. It's love-hate relationship with people, I guess, with me. Either you really think I'm a great person. I'm not perfect by any means. Nobody is. Everybody's got stress. Everybody gets sick. Everybody gets sandwiched. Everybody has problems. But I'm guilty of probably gossiping because, really, it's hard to not talk to people that work for me because that's really all I can do. And I like to talk, and oftentimes I have learned coping skills of how to find things and how to relax, which I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to end the video. I will hopefully update you after the first year. But I can't live like this. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I've got a stranger coming in tomorrow. The holidays are hard on disabled people. Everybody wants to take vacation, and you get new people, and it's really scary. It's just the way it is. Anyway, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Despite my problems, I hope to have some halibut or salmon for Christmas Eve to share with my caregiver or maybe my neighbor. I've got so many people that help me. I'm really lucky in a lot of ways. So, hope that you enjoyed the video. I know it's long. Bye.